All right, we are back with another episode of It's That Easy, and this time we're talking Major League Baseball. So if you're watching, please like the video. Greatly appreciate that. And if you feel so inclined, go ahead and subscribe. That'll notify you, or should help notify you, whenever I put out new videos. So we started off with NFL football and college football. Got into college basketball. That was a ton of fun as well. And now we're going into Major League Baseball. So here's what we're going to do. This is actually my first season of watching Major League Baseball with the intent of putting bets on some of these games. So you're going to have to bear with me here, but we're going to learn this thing. So what I wanted to do is break it down because there's practically 16 games a day that get played in Major League Baseball. A lot of players, a lot of pitchers, a lot of teams going on. So this is what we're going to do. These 6 teams you see right in front of you actually play this weekend. They have a Friday through Sunday series, and we're going to follow these teams. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a breakdown video of the games for Friday night. We're going to look at pitching. We're going to look at team hitting. We're going to maybe look at some individual hitting, try and determine who's going to win. It's called the money line. Who's going to win the game? We're going to look at runs. Usually, what I've seen is over-unders are about 7 to 8 runs. You know, who scores a ton of runs, who doesn't score a ton of runs, what pitchers give up, which pitching staffs and pitchers give up a ton of runs. So we're going to try and determine those as well. So we will do that tomorrow. So I figured for our kickoff show, this is what we're going to do. This is what I was looking at here. I said, let's look at in the beginning of the season, like who do we think's going to, at the end of the season, win the division? Who's going to win the pennant? And who are going to win the major awards? Because those are always big things to do. So we'll take a quick look at those, and then I'll start working on my show for tomorrow for Friday's picks so that I give you the best stuff. So let's start with the American League. So the American League, these are the projected winners of who's going to win the West. They got the Mariners winning that, which the Rangers are up right now on that. They got the Yankees winning the East, which the Yankees are up on that. And they got Detroit winning the Central, which, I just had them up there, Cleveland. Cleveland was the Central winner there, the current one. So I'm going to tell you something that was pretty fascinating to me. So I looked up just to see in the past few years, like who were the projected division winners and who actually won. So for the American League, let's see, last season you had Boston, Detroit, and Texas were the projected division winners. Here were the actual division winners at the end of the season: Toronto, Cleveland, and Seattle. So none of the projected winners won, right? So that tells you right there, like, do those guys have a chance? Maybe, maybe not. 2024, Baltimore, Minnesota, and Houston were the projected winners. And the actual winners were the Yankees, the Indians, and Houston. So in that scenario, you did have one of the teams that actually was projected to win in the beginning of the season and won the division. And then in 2023, it was the Yankees, Cleveland, and Houston. And the winners were Baltimore, Minnesota, and Houston. So again, you had 1 out of 3 that was picked to win. So right now, if you look at those numbers, so what the Seattle number, the plus 105, that means if you bet $100, you would actually win $105. So you bet $100. If Seattle wins it, you get back total, or your total would be $205. Now the Yankees, on the other hand, that shows, the minus shows you what a favorite they are to win. So that's actually telling you would actually have to bet $121 to win $100. So if you bet $121 and they win, you'll win $221. If you just bet $100, you probably come out to like $75, $80 of winning on that one. And then the Tigers plus 116. You bet $100, you win 116. So not too bad. Some of the other ones, and I actually had thought I'd pull this up for you here, but obviously, like, you can pick any team to win, and just like I told you before, the teams that are usually projected aren't always the winner. So here's one for the East where the Yankees are at. If you pick the Tampa Bay Devil Rays the Tampa Bay Rays to win the division, they're actually at a plus 2,000. So that means if you bet $100, you'll win $2,000. Now we've seen in the past that the one projected to win doesn't usually win. So take that as you want there. For me, I like looking at the West. The Rangers are actually a plus 330. So that would be Seattle there, Seattle's division. And the Rangers, so a $100 bet would actually win you $330. So you come home with 430. Not too bad. And we're pretty sure the Rangers are going to win because they dominated Seattle the last 3 games. So maybe coming home with some big money. But if you want to pick the Angels, they're a plus 3,000. $100 win you $3,000. Man, that's what they call it gambling. Isn't that crazy? So the pennant winners. So here's who they're thinking is going to win. That's going to represent the AL in the World Series. I just updated these, so they're off by a little bit, maybe. But the Yankees are obviously the top team in the American League, that's picked to represent them. But it's pretty close with Seattle. So you bet $100 for the Yankees to win the pennant, you'll win $350. So not a bad deal. $460 for Seattle, $800 for Toronto to go back and repeat as the American League pennant winner. So pretty good there. I threw these out there. I don't know. I mean, usually people are pretty good on knowing who's who and who's pitching, who's the rookie of the year, who's the MVP winner. But if you look at all these numbers, here are the current top 3 people in each of the categories. And if you see, if the numbers are close, it means it's a close race, right? They think it's going to be good. So look at let's take the American League MVP, for example. Aaron Judge, 170. The third person they have is Yordan Alvarez at 1,000. So that tells you Aaron Judge is a heavy, heavy favorite to win the MVP. Here's the only thing I don't like about that is that, or like about the MVP, is that it gets voted on, right? It's not like, okay, who has the most home runs or who has the most RBIs, who has the best batting average. It's kind of a combination. Everybody votes on who they think the MVP is going to be. Chances, now I did look up that as well. The projected MVP, more often than not, is the MVP at the end of the season. There's got to be something really crazy that goes on, like Aaron Judge gets hurt, or Bobby Witt or Alvarez or someone else, right, in the American League has this crazy season that, it's a no-brainer. So more than likely, it feels like Aaron Judge is going to win the MVP. Skubal, obviously, right, is the top Cy Young candidate right now, but you never know. Crotch, he pitched the other day, and they weren't supposed to beat Milwaukee, and they did. So you never know who's going to win. And then Rookie of the Year, right, that's really a toss-up because these are all brand new guys. Some of them into the middle of the season may not even be playing really well or playing much at all. So it just depends on who you pick there. But I just wanted to throw these out there because it's something to think about. It's something, if you want to do some preseason picks of who's going to win some of these, like, you never know. It would be a great reward for you. You put them some money here in April, and in October, November, they pay you. And you picked the Blue Jays to repeat as the pennant winner, and they won. Your $100 turned into $800. You're gonna have a pretty good Christmas. And then let's go to the National League. So National League, pretty similar there. So I just want to make sure I got some other stuff here for you. But National League, okay, if that doesn't tell you how big, sorry, I think I put that, let me see, hold on. Yeah, I put that wrong. That's not a minus. I'm sorry, that's not a plus. That's a minus for the LA Dodgers. That's how big of a favorite they are to win. So being that it's a minus, like you would have to bet $1,099 to win $100 that they're going to win their division. So here's the cool part, though. In second place, or the second highest in the National League West, is the Padres at $1,100. $100 on the Padres, and they win the West. wins you $1,100. But yeah, that's how bad it is. And if you pick the Rockies to win the West, it's only 30,000. So if you bet $100, you only make $30,000. So I'd say that's a pretty good Christmas. But if the Rockies win, yeah, it's probably because something froze over, and we'll all be having Christmas super early. Maybe not Christmas, but we'll have winter for sure. Now these other races are pretty good, like the Mets to win the East. The Mets bet $100, win $129. The Phillies are right behind them at a plus 199. The Braves third at plus 244. Nationals plus 10,000. There's a good one there. So, and then obviously Milwaukee right now in the Central plus 171. Cubs are right behind them at plus 196. Pirates are right behind them at plus 400. And the Reds, actually, you know what? The Reds are probably a good bet here. Anyway, plus 500. So that's pretty good. And, you know, and here's the thing. These odds will actually change as the season goes on. You know, obviously teams win, lose. Some teams, like these three teams, or whoever's in first place now, which I showed you earlier, if they're not in first place, let's say in a month, all these odds could change. So the sooner you put money on the odds, the better off, or the bigger payoff you get. If you wait in a month, it's less of a payoff. In 3 months, like a month till the season's over, it's obviously less of a payoff. So, and on and on and on. So, for the National League pennant winner, though, that's a pretty good one there. They got the Dodgers, and I think, did I do that right again? Now I feel like it's a minus again. But so you got the Dodgers as the favorite, obviously, by a long shot, because they're, well, maybe it is $100 will pay you 110, which is not bad. The second place team right now that they have winning the National League pennant would be the Philadelphia Phillies at plus 800. So that means you put down $100, you'll win $800. So that's not been good recently, because the Dodgers have been the favorite to win the pennant the last 2 seasons, and they've not only won the pennant, they actually won the World Series. So if you're looking to do that, that's kind of crazy. The Mets are actually the second place team with plus 700. If your team is the Braves, you think the Braves are going to make it, they're plus 1,000 right now. And if you think the Reds, 2,500, or if you're San Francisco Giants guy, plus 3,500. So there is some money to be made out there. Chances are they're not going to make it, but you never know. And then here are the other ones too, right? We did Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and MVP. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani is the favorite, big-time favorite to win, because it's a minus, right? So that means to win $100, you'd have to bet $208. That's how how much of a favorite he is. Juan Soto's right behind him at 1,200, and Acuna Jr. is 1,000. So $100 giving you $1,000. You never know. Something happens, right? Ohtani has an injury. He just doesn't bat as well as he thought he was going to do. And one of these guys has a breakout season. Man, yeah, it could be pretty good for you. And then the Cy Young Award winner, Skeens, I think because he had a rough first start, that dropped him to second, not by much. Chris Sanchez is up there for the Phillies. He's at plus 340. We already know. I'm not going to do the math again. You already know the math now. And Yamamoto, who dominated the World Series, look at that. That guy might win it. So you never know who's going to win. Skeens is the winner from last year. So will he repeat, or will somebody else take his spot? And then Rookie of the Year, right? Same thing. You got new guys out there. They're kind of close, but as the season goes on, those numbers will change, but it also could bring up new people. So there are some, if you look on your sites that you do your predictions on, you should be able to pick some of these. Who knows? Maybe you pick a winner. I mean, is it even worth picking the Dodgers to win the pennant? I mean, if you want to, you could, but if you're trying, this is gambling for a reason, right? If you want to try and make some money, go with those other guys. So, but that's what I wanted to go over there. Once again, baseball is the season now. We're in there. So our show is going to be about baseball now. And like I said, these are the 6 division leaders as of April the 8th. And so these guys all have 3-game series coming up over the weekend that we're going to start breaking down on Thursday night for Friday's games, and then we'll do the rest for the weekend. Let's see how we do against the experts, and you never know, could make a ton of dineros. So if you're watching, please like the video and subscribe if you get a chance. That way you'll get notified with all these great videos popping up. But thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.